Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis. It's the Comic Book Roundtable with Raz, as always.
Hey.
We're gonna talk some comics. Was it a big week for you? I didn't see the full end of your haul. How many books did you end up with this week? Lots?
Ooh, I think I had like 20, 28 or something. It was close. It was pretty.
Pretty empty. Oh, okay. Mine was only 16, which back in the day that used to be a lot. Now that's like, oh, I almost didn't even get comics this week. But But anyway, so we're going to talk some comics. There were some interesting comics came out this week. We flipped the imaginary three-sided coin. It landed on Marvel. So we're going to talk Marvel because me and Rez are huge Marvel readers. We read all the Marvel stuff and whatnot. So we're joking. I mean, I would love to read more Marvel. They're just not putting out necessarily what I want to read. Just last week, they canceled 2 of my books. So I think I have 3. There's 3 Marvel books I'm getting right now. So 3, yeah. Anyway, let's talk some Marvel. I'll talk first. I know you ended up with 1 book. I want to talk Hawkeye, issue number 5, written by Kelly Thompson. On the credits here, it says that it is Leonardo Romero and Jody Bellary on colors. That is not right. The poor guy who did the art on this didn't get cover credit. That has to stink if you don't get cover credit when you do a book. Michael Walsh did the interiors, and it was a lot of fun. I really, really like Hawkeye. Kelly Thompson does a good job of kind of capturing a good mix of Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye series, the Matt Fraction and David Aja did, and some of the Kate Bishop from Kieran Gillian and Jamie McKelvey's run on Young Avengers. She does a really good job of kind of capturing all of that. And in this issue, she's hanging out with Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones has come to LA because she's tracking down a person, and the last place they were seen was in LA. So she is, kind of hooking up with Kate Bishop, and they're hunting down this girl. And there's lots of great fun things in this that are, because the book is kind of narrated kind of from a from Kate's head, basically. And she's all excited because Jessica Jones is the veteran superhero PI, and she's going to learn all this stuff. So she's always writing down these, basically Jessica Jones, learned things that are pretty funny and stuff. And there's just lots of good gags and laughs in here. I mean, the opening panel is awesome because the opening panel is, a person floating in the pool, which, they immediately say this is very Sunset Boulevard from the movie Sunset Boulevard, but no one's dead in this case. And it's Jessica Jones, not her, not Kate, that's narrating and whatnot. One of the other really funny things that's in this is in the Young Avengers version of the book, they kind of toy and flirt with the idea that Kate might be bi, but they never really, everybody kind of goes, oh yeah, you are, even though she never really commits to anything like that. And at one point, her and Jessica Jones are in the closet. They're hiding in the closet to prowl this place at the end of the night. And she actually comments that, makes a comment about the fact that, that there's some sort of, that her friends would have some interesting commentary about the fact that she's in the closet, getting ready to come out of the closet. I thought it was pretty funny. This is a really great book. Like I said, it takes all those combinations of stuff. It's just lots of fun. Good romp. Really enjoy it. It's a book I'm always excited when it comes out. So, Raz, what'd you pick up this week from Marvel?
Only 1 book, and that is Jessica Jones, issue number 7. And I liked it. I just kind of feel like it's kind of boring at this point. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's super exciting. I still get it because I think maybe it's going to get better. It's just okay right now. Right now, in this issue, we find that, after last issue where Jessica Jones actually betrayed Captain Marvel, we find out that that was actually a ruse, that she was tricking the woman who she had worked alongside to betray Ms. Marvel. She was actually like under double cover, like double D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she was undercover to help with Marvel, but then she acted like she was not undercover with Marvel to be undercover with that woman. And then she took down that woman because she was planning on killing a whole lot of different Inhumans, different people in the Marvel universe, like different heroes and stuff. And so they pretty much stopped her. And now she has found out that Luke Cage found their daughter at her mother's house. And she tries to go and apologize to him and explain to him why she had to do it. She goes to him to speak with him. He doesn't want to talk to her about it. He's still upset. But they both bond together with their baby, and then she leaves. And she goes back to her office, and she has someone trying to patch themselves up in her bathroom and telling them that she's going to be murdered later on tonight, and she needs Jessica to find her murderer. So I don't know. And the person may be somebody in the Marvel Universe that I just don't know who it is. I'm going to show you because I was trying to figure out, maybe I just didn't catch who it was, but maybe you might know. Does it look like anybody familiar to you?
No.
Okay. But yeah, I was like, okay, maybe that's important. Who she, because the way they introduced her, she's like, well, I'm about to be murdered tonight. I need you to help me find out who murdered me. I know this is a little awkward, me patching myself up in your bathroom, but
you bleeding in your bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. But it was a pretty decent read. It just wasn't super exciting or anything.
So is it like lots of talking heads? Bendis is famous for a lot of people complain about the fact that he spends a lot of time with just a bunch of talking heads.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of talking, and more so a lot of I guess a lot of thought bubbles more so than someone talking. So it was like you're reading this person's thoughts and everything.
Right.
That can kind of get annoying too when you just want to get to the actual characters having interaction.
So Jockio is saying, Maria Hill, come on, guys.
I figured somebody in the comments that chat was going to say who it was. I don't know. I can't come on because I don't read Marvel enough to know.
I was going to say, and Maria Hill doesn't mean anything to me either. So
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
See, that's how bad we are.
I don't recall. I do not recall.
Jockio, you just need to come on. You need to come on so you can educate us on the Marvel stuff because I'm way out of the loop. If it wasn't Marvels from like the 1980s, I'm pretty much out of my depth. So
yeah, I think I'm more in tune with the Marvel movies than I am with the comics.
I'm not even that. So, but yeah. So I don't know who that is. If that's somebody that I'm supposed to like, is that somebody from Shield?
She seemed very nice though. She's like a nice lady.
Yeah. Horrible.
I know.
We're bad. I know that's pretty bad. Anyway, the other Marvel book that I got was America. Ooh, yeah. I love this cover because I just love the whole Beyonce, the whole Beyonce rift. I love it. It's great. What's unfortunate is whereas the Hawkeye book, I talk about how they basically take the great things that I thought about the character and kind of who she, kind of the vibe that she had. In this case, it does not translate over. There's nothing. Nothing about it is recognizable really much to me at all. And so that's kind of a letdown in that sense, is that it's not the same character that I wanted to embrace as far from what she was in the Young Avengers and stuff like that. And heck, even the Ultimates really. But that's not the real problem with the book for me. The real problem with the book is kind of how it bounces from thing to thing. Stuff just kind of randomly happens without a real smooth transition for me. It feels really clunky. It's got lots of great Latino and Afrocentric kind of references and whatnot. That's all great. I think it's fabulous that they have the writer on it that they do, Gabby Rivera, as far as her representing and the character, her kind of being able to show, what this kind of character might actually be like. And that's all great. But the problem for me is just structurally how the book is kind of put together. And when it goes from one thing to the next thing, it feels very, clunky and random. And the segues between scenes is just really frustrating for me. This is the second issue, and we've already got multiple artists, on the book, multiple pencilers, and not multiple pencilers for a reason. It's just kind of all over the place kind of a thing. So unfortunately, I'm done. Two issues is enough for me to know I can't foresee it, those things improving. So when I order my comics this month, I won't be ordering this. As much as I absolutely love this cover, I wish it felt like that inside, but it doesn't feel like that inside. So, Edward 2962 is watching tonight too. Hey Ed, how's it going? And he says that he liked the American cover, but decided to drop America, and now he's looking forward to Joe Casey's version called All American Comics, which I am picking up.
I love Joe Casey.
Joe Casey is the original creator of America.
Really? I didn't know that.
And they were going to people kept begging for this comic to be made, and Marvel just kept dragging their feet. So Casey decided that he was going to. They couldn't call it America, so they're basically using the same character, tweaking it just enough that they can get away copyright wise, and are putting out an image version of the book. So I'm going to check that out and see what that's like.
Thanks for telling me about that, because I'm going to get it now. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. I mean, it feels to me like after they made the announcement, we're going to do this book, and they're ramping it up, getting ready to do the book, that then Marvel said, oh shit, we better get on it and do the book. And so, we have the book. But yeah, it's not, I mean, I know they talk about the fact the first issue sold out. Now the first issue is free. You can go read issue 1 digitally. Marvel's giving it away, so I don't know. I really wanted to support the book. I wanted to be excited about it, but it's just not that good.
Yeah.
And that's my Marvel for this week.
I almost picked that up. I really did, but
I would have picked it up. I was in a comic book store, and even if I wasn't getting it, if I saw that cover, I would have picked it up.
Yeah.
Because I love the cover. The cover looks awesome. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. It structurally just has problems. So, Marvel news.
Have you seen Iron Fist yet on Netflix?
I have started watching Iron Fist. I am 5 episodes in. I'm not watching it as fast as what I've watched the other Marvel shows. It's not as riveting. It's not as exciting. I don't hate it. A lot of people are talking about they hate it. They think it's dry. It's just not really.
Yeah. My kids are okay with it. We watch it together and we're like, okay, it's good for time to pass,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so I'm not as excited by it, but I don't think it's horrible, and I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm it's part of the whole Netflix Marvel universe, and I like that universe. I like the other shows, so I'm just going to I'm gonna slowly watch it and finish watching it and whatnot, but definitely not super excited by that. Other Marvel news. I'm trying to think of Marvel news that isn't like a total flaming mess right now. Well, I mean, I don't have a lot of information on it, so I don't know how much I should really talk about it. But I guess in X-Men Gold that just came out, in that there are some guys playing baseball, and their T-shirts have some references on it that are specific to Indonesia and a anti-Jew, anti-Christian organization, kind of a thing. And so it just suddenly kind of come to light that people who have been reading it noticed that it has this stuff in there and whatnot. And I don't know. I think that artist that like I said, I'm horrible. I don't have the information from me, so I probably shouldn't be talking about it. I'll be curious to see what Marvel does about that. And I guess this artist has done this before, kind of slipped in, secret little codes and that sort of stuff, kind of things, and which I just seems bizarre to me because X-Men Gold is kind of like the old X-Men. So like Kitty Pryde is the one that's in, running the team, and she's Jewish. So having an artist on the book who clearly has a different political view, and I don't think that part matters so much, but wants to inject that view into the comic book that's counter to the characters that are in it seems really strange to me. So that doesn't seem like a good matchup. I'm not saying that somebody who has a different political view than the characters in the book can't do the book clearly, but you wouldn't think that you'd spend your time sneaking in stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Other Marvel news, I can't really think of anything. Oh, they leaked, there was just a little bit of Defender news too, as far as the, the Netflix TV shows. There's been like this little spot. Have you seen that? It's like 20. It's like 20 seconds. It shows all of them. It shows Daredevil. Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
They all get in that elevator, and
Yeah,
they all look kind of exhausted or whatever. It's interesting that Daredevil's not in costume, but he's wearing like a scarf over his face to hide his, like the old costume before he had an official costume. And they're riding in the elevator, and then Jessica Jones jumps up and smashes the camera. So we've got that. What, that comes out in August, I think I heard. So not very long. So I at least got to get the Iron Fist done before that. So
yeah, to this day I still have to finish up the rest of Luke Cage. I haven't finished it all.
Really?
I did like half of it. It's not that I didn't want to finish it. I just stopped watching and started doing other things. And
I really liked Luke Cage. I thought there was a lot.
I love what I watched.
There was a lot of interesting commentary going on in Luke Cage. If not actually saying it, just the projection of a lot of that stuff. A guy in a hoodie gets shot up a whole bunch of whatnot. I don't know. There's a lot of social commentary there about it, and I like the music. I like the music for Luke Cage.
Oh yeah,
all that kind of jazzy stuff and whatnot. So
I'll have to tune into it when I get a chance. I don't know why I'll do that. Like if I don't watch it all right then I just will leave.
You don't binge watch it. You don't get to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there to watch though. So a lot vying for your attention.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching that, you're not reading comic books. The comic books are more important. So
true.
Alrighty, I don't know any other Marvel type stuff going on. I mean, you kind of looked at this month's solicitations already. Is that right? As far as ordering your books?
Yes, I have. I haven't looked at the Marvel part.
Oh, okay.
I breezed through DC and just picked out the bundles that I picked, like which is Young Animal and Hanna-Barbera, and then I picked out a few different books. But Marvel, I feel like it's nothing really in Marvel that is really calling my name. Sure. So I was gonna wait to hear if you're gonna pick something up from Marvel and then look at it. But
okay.
Of course, I went through the indie, of course.
Right. As far as Marvel new books are coming up, I'm gonna pick up the Black Bolt. That's gonna be coming up. I like that character. I'm always interested in how do you tell a story with a character who technically can't talk because if Black Bolt opens his mouth, he blows everything up, kind of a thing. And Christian Ward is doing the artwork for it. And
ooh, I love his art.
Yes, so I'm kind of excited to see him do at least a full arc of Black Bolt. So that's the new Marvel book I know that's going to be coming up that I'm for sure picking up. So
you think they'll let him do the watercolor kind of thing like he did in Infinite Vacation?
Oh yeah, they have to.
I mean, because that would be crazy.
Okay, that's his art. I can't imagine him just doing the pencil work, just doing the line work, and then somebody else coloring it. That just wouldn't be right.
I just don't want them to stifle him,
And Jacquio is saying that the Royals was better than I expected, and the Royals is some of the Inhuman stories, right? I'm pretty sure. And I decided I wasn't going to get the whole Inhuman thing. I just kind of wanted to focus on just the Black Bolt stuff. There for a while, I was collecting the Inhuman stuff, and it kind of, because there were 2 Inhuman books going, it got messy when I was only trying to read one, and so I ended up bailing on them. But I am, like I said, I'm curious about the Black Bolt one. I'm really curious to see where they go with that. So yeah. So let's roll on to DC books.
Okay.
I have a few DC books, of course, because I'm a DC fanboy, I guess. So what DC book you want to start first? I know you have at least 2, maybe 3.
I have 3.
Yeah, I probably have all 3 of those too. What do you want to talk first?
I think one of my most favorite ones today, surprisingly, is I Am Batman.
Yeah.
I love this issue.
Bane.
Oh, that is sick.
Yeah.
Wowzers. This was, obviously the showdown between our dear Batman and crazy ass Bane. I mean, and Batman was taking a whooping. He was taking a beating for sure in this issue. And while he was taking his beating, we're going back, flashing back to several different moments in Bruce's life, such as when his parents were killed. And then we also have these different, I guess, speech boxes popping up where we find out later on that it's his mother speaking to him.
Mhm.
So she's talking to him, saying how, while you're fighting Bane and he thinks he has you at the weakest moment, you're coming to us and we're enveloping you into our arms and we're welcoming you because you're being touched by me and you're finally coming back to your mother, and I'm holding you. And then and while she's talking to him and comforting him, we see that he's resisting going into the light.
Right. Right.
So he's resisting going to the light with Caroline, and he's he actually, I guess, gets the strength to fight Bane back at Bane's most vulnerable moment where he thinks that he's won. Batman says, "Hey, did you forget who I am?
Right.
I'm Batman."
Right. After Bane's giving him the whole "I am Bane," yes.
Yeah.
And he's about ready to go out. I mean, Batman is literally, his eyes are going, oh, because he's starting to succumb to
He's knocked
consciousness.
out and everything, right?
Right. And then he lays the fatal headbutt.
Oh yeah. Those things
Right.
hurt. I've done that before. I've headbutted people, and it hurts.
Yeah. And then but that headbutt actually takes Bane out. Of course, the entire last issue, Bane had to beat up just about everybody in Arkham to get to Batman. So Bane's in pretty rough shape to get there, in the first place and whatnot. But yeah, I liked a lot of this issue. And some of my early complaints about the Tom King run gets squared away. I don't know that it's perfect. I don't know that it completely settles things for me with Batman, but I was an early detractor of Batman when it first came out. The whole riding the plane down, is this a good death? He's talking to his mom a whole bunch, which to me just seems really weird that Batman would spend so much time talking to his dead mother, which I thought has been kind of strange all along. But they kind of bury all that in this. They do a good job of kind of seemingly ending it. There's this is why Batman does what he does. He does it, he's fighting for Gotham, this war on, it's this war on all of crime, basically, since his parents died. That's what his whole life has been and whatnot. And I just like the very ending of it where he's fading out, like he is kind of going into the light, and he's sitting there with his mom, because we find out that this voice that's been talking through a lot of this is his mom, like you were saying. And he tells his mom, no, this isn't victory. This isn't a war on crime. There was a girl who needed help, and I helped her, and that's all this was about. Someone needed help, and I helped. And I kind of like that. And it's like, I'm done, Mom. He's kind of like, I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. And Mom's like, well, you're all grown up, and you don't have to have a good death for me to be proud of you. And I kind of like that, and him saying, yeah, Mom, I know. Which to me, yeah, Mom, I know. If you have kids, if they haven't started saying it to you yet, at some point they're going to start saying it. They're going to start saying, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
everything.
My daughter's just like that. She's like,
yeah. So I don't know. I like that. I like that part of it too. So it felt like with this issue that Tom King kind of, for me in my head, resolved the kind of nutty stuff that Batman was saying and acting, early on in the run. So I'm happy about that, kind of a thing. And this kind of, this kind of settles this whole, I think kind of settles everything, all the Gotham Girl stuff, the Gotham stuff, the Bane stuff, because the next issue we go into the crossover with the Flash over the button stuff, over the button that was the Watchmen button that was found in the cave during the whole Rebirth stuff is going to start up next. So I liked it. As far as 20 issues of telling us a kind of a round and around story, I thought it worked out pretty well. So yeah, kind of enjoying it.
Yeah. I enjoyed this issue a lot. I mean, I guess I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, which is why I was Although I obviously enjoy my other two books a lot. I mean, they're obviously perfect for me. This one was just one of those books that I read it and I'm like, oh, okay. And I do agree with you. I was surprised at how long that Bruce talked to his mother, because that did lull on a little bit. But I think that it did help achieve some answers. It got some questions answered where we kind of have more of an understanding on why Tom King's Batman is so dead set, on defeating a lot of these characters, these villains in Gotham. And then also I really enjoyed seeing how when Batman is obviously so close to death, how he can just come right back and then declare, "I'm Batman."
Yeah,
that's what people. It's obviously fan service. I feel like a lot of when I read Batman, I feel like it's all fan service.
Sure,
that's the most enjoyable part of it.
It certainly is. So one of the things you like about the Batman book is, like, in this issue, for instance, there's a lot of action, a lot of brutality and fighting, and I'm just having it out, and that's sometimes is the enjoyable part when we finally get to that point where it's going to be a reckoning, basically. And so that's lots of fun. I'm looking at the comments, and Johnny DaCosta, DC Comics, is on, and he is saying that he can't wait for the Joker arc. John, go away. We've had more than enough Joker in Batman for at least a couple more years. We got to find other villains for a while anyway. Lordy.
Yeah, he's all baned out.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk another Gotham book real quick before we go on to the next one that I know you're reading. This is part of the Nightwing Must Die storyline. They're fighting against Pig, who I really like. They changed his origin. Now his origin is, and maybe they did this during the Grayson book too, but now Pig is a ex-member of Spiral who basically took enough psychotropic drugs and whatnot to just make himself totally loony. So he is in this. They confront Bane. They save Nightwing's girlfriend, and we find out we found out at the end that Pig actually is working for somebody else, and we get a reveal at the end of the book who that somebody else is, which is interesting in one way because there was some really good Grant Morrison. I'm pretty sure it was Grant Morrison wrote this other character really interestingly well with Dick Grayson when Dick Grayson was Batman. And so I don't know how much that Tim Seeley is kind of using and changing that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. But at the same time, I guess it's a problem with all superhero comics to some degree. They just kind of keep rehashing the same stories in a sense. And I kind of sometimes feel like I wish they'd venture into something different. So I'm still on board with Nightwing for now because I like these villains that he's currently encountering. And lots of times that's what the superhero comics are about, is the cool villains anyway. So I'm going to wait and see exactly what that ends up playing out like. But I have not been feeling Nightwing quite so much. So, but like I said, I like these characters, and it's always fun seeing Nightwing and Robin together, just because most of the writers who write them seem to do a pretty good job of kind of capturing the back and forth between those two characters. So that's kind of fun. So, Rodney, what's the next one you want to talk? Flintstones. So you have the variant?
Yes, I suppose so.
No, right on. I actually got two.
Did you?
They mistakenly mailed me two, and I was hoping they're going to mail me two that they'd mistakenly give me the other cover. They didn't. I literally have two of this cover. One. Yeah,
you can give someone with a nice, wonderful little kind of one off.
Yep.
Kind of get them in, but I really enjoyed this. Like, I love seeing how they did away with Claude at the very end. I was getting sick of Claude.
Yes. President Claude the Destroyer. Or no, Mayor Claude. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Claude the Destroyer. So how they get rid of him, right, is they put him on a movie set.
Yes.
In a fake cave with a fake phone, having him talk to the fruit. So do you think that's a commentary on somebody else's seemingly not so good grasp on reality?
Yes, I do. I loved it. That's why I love this comic so much because it's like I understand that it would be kind of offensive to some people who are Mayor Claude supporters.
I guess.
For those
if
who are not,
if you're part of the Make Bedrock Great Again
yeah.
group, yeah.
Yeah. If you're in support of destroying the lizard people.
Yes, the lizard people, because they're taking our ferns.
Yeah,
Destroy the lizard people.
You know, I say, F our ferns.
Yes, this is great. There's so much great stuff that goes on in Flintstone. Even beyond that, I mean, okay, so movies have been introduced. So not just television, now movies. On film, you can go into a movie theater and watch movies. And it's this whole big thing. And so Barney calls up Fred and goes, "Hey, Fred, there's these movies that have these women exposing themselves. We should go watch." And Fred's like, "What? No, I'm a married man." And he's like, "Yeah, but it's just movies. Aren't you interested in seeing what other women are like?" Yeah. So then they're sneaking off to go to the movie theater, and they're wearing trench coats and they have them all pulled up on their faces. But did you see the movies they're going to?
Yeah, but what I was curious what that word they used. What was the word they used? I was like, what in the hell? They use the word that I usually see very often, and for what they refer to the movies, the pornographic movies as. When he first asked him, "Do you want to see it?"
I don't remember. I don't remember what he was calling it though. Now that you've said that,
talking about though, right? What he was at, he called it something. And I was like, "What? What? Run that by me again." What is he asking? Because he's clearly a movie that they're not supposed to see. Yeah,
it's about women burying themselves. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, burying. Yeah, he said burying, and I was like, okay, yeah. Burying.
But so they go to they sneak in to the movie theater, and it's not a blue movie. They're not seeing pornos. It's Shale Magnolias.
Yeah,
it's Steel Magnolias. They're going to see, and then the next movie they go to see. They go back to they go to the vet club, the sacred place of the water buffaloes, and they're talking to their friend about it. Oh my gosh, and then boom, all one fell swoop. There's all the communication barriers go down. So they're talking about these women basically, just kind of talking about womanly things, and they're like, oh my God, freaking out over it. And the next movie they go to see is Bridges of Maidstone County. I mean, so it's not like they're getting titillated by a movie that basically has women talking to other women and kind of being real, kind of a thing is what it sounds like. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
the Joy Rock Club. Yeah, I don't know.
And there was a very heartbreaking moment in here too, as well. In this, which every issue does is where you have really super super funny moments, and then it reels it in, and then it gives you a heart crushing moment. And oh my God, I cried because this is one of my favorite characters. I believe it was issue 5 or 6 where we were introduced to the vacuum, and we see where him and the bowling ball connect as friends, and he is just taken away from us like that. Like, I mean, he goes
right.
To the movie theater, sees Steel Magnolias, and then gets to use his vacuum to clean up the movie theater.
Which, of course, is a joke in its own right, because I mean, at least where I'm at, movie theater floors are notoriously awful, right? They got so much junk on them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the vacuum cleaner snuck in and watched a movie, and the vacuum cleaner is trying to leave, and they take the vacuum cleaner and vacuum, of course, the movie theater floor. So the vacuum cleaner is really sick.
Mm-hmm.
The bowling ball is of course being used to play bowling, and Barney is telling Fred a joke, or vice versa. So the bowling ball finally learns a joke, and the bowling ball is all excited because that's one of the things vacuum cleaners always wanted, is to hear a joke. You get home and the vacuum cleaner has died from sucking up all the crap off of the movie theater floor. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's these serious moments in it. It's such a good book. It's so smart on so many levels. The satire in it is just great. The social commentaries on it is great. I don't know. I think it's absolutely just a brilliant book. And I just this week I got done reading the first trade. I got that first trade, read it, had it read right away. I just read straight through. Absolutely fabulous stuff. I mean, it's just such a smart book.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's just, yeah, you like you said, it has great social commentary, and it just really, I'm amazed at how on point it is with what we're experiencing right now with politics and, you know.
Yeah. Well, and not even just the right now stuff, like the whole joking with Claude, the Claude the Destroyer, the mayor, and that sort of stuff. Just the general commentary on modern life right now is great too. I mean, it just really is. I highly recommend that first trade. If you haven't picked up the singles, it's a really easy book also to jump in anywhere. This issue, you could jump on it and not be really lost. The vacuum cleaner scene might not have as much impact because you haven't seen little bits and pieces of their budding friendship between the vacuum cleaner and the bowling ball. But still, nothing that would be beyond a person's ability to pick up and absorb. But definitely recommend that first trade if you're interested in checking out a bulk all at once, because it's just absolutely great stuff. And thank you guys, thank you Mike, thank you Rez for talking the book up enough to me to clearly realize that I was missing something. I pretty much think anybody who's not picking up that book is missing out. So
oh yeah, I agree.
It's just great. It still just blows my mind that it's the Flintstones and it's this great piece of kind of brilliant commentary on a bunch of stuff. It just shocks me. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say about the Flintstones?
I adore it, and I wish I was in the Flintstones.
Yabba dabba do. All right.
Yep.
Yes.
What is it? Going to tar pit every day.
Yes, there you are. So I'm going to quickly talk Superman issue number 20. This is the Black Dawn part 1. So something happened during the last arc that was a crossover between Superman and Action Comics. I did not pick up Action Comics. I'm not 100% sure this is exactly the same Clark Kent and Lois Lane that started out the Rebirth stuff. It just seemed a little odd as far as that goes, so I'm not 100% sure. Something wasn't quite keen. Still a smart book. Still really enjoy it. The art in it is absolutely fabulous. Gleason just does a wonderful job. In this issue, Batman and Robin both show up. Batman has more misgivings with John, Superboy, because he feels like Superboy at the age he is now, he should be more powerful than Superman. But something's holding him back or something weird is happening. And Batman wants to get to the bottom of it. Superman's offended because it's kind of like, look, it's my kid. I'll deal with my own issues. You don't need to be poking your nose in. Of course, Batman can't leave anything alone because he has to be in charge of everything. And he does some snooping around, and potentially the neighbor's dairy farm has some sinister stuff going on. So we'll see what happens. I'm still really enjoying it, but there were moments in this issue that felt a little odd because the whole Clark and Lois thing seems just a little stranger than what it used to be. So I'm gonna have to find somebody else who read the whole Reborn arc and find out from them exactly what's up with the Superman thing. But still really enjoying Superman, which I continue 20 issues in saying shocks me to no end that Superman of the Rebirth stuff, Superman is one of the books I enjoy reading the most because I am not really a very serious Superman reader. So this is more issues of Superman than I have ever owned. So good stuff. Good stuff. Roddy, what else?
Shade the Changing Girl.
Shade the Changing Girl.
We got the same cover.
Yep.
I love Shade. It's just, again, every time I read it, I think of how lyrical and how melodic how melodic the actual text and the words are in this book. I always feel like I'm reading some lyrics to something. I love that about that. We have Loma, dredging up her past, talking of how she was adopted. She originally came from this species called the Avion, and she was adopted into the meta lifestyle by the meta people. She was clipped. I guess they're clipped from birth, or as soon as they're taken into the agency when they're given off to meta parents.
Which is nuts because they can't fly anyway.
Yeah.
They can't fly anyway, but they clip them just
Yeah,
because that's what you do with birds.
Yeah,
Captive birds.
exactly. And then she was talking of how she was forced to, do a lot of different things, like attend university so that she could be able to migrate to other planets and other galaxies and stuff. Without that education, they don't allow them to leave and stuff like that. So it talks about different things that you don't really think about now in society. Like if you don't get an education, it can kind of hold you back from from exploring and doing other things. But here it's just more exaggerated, more extreme as far as on her world.
Right.
And we also are introduced to Shade Rock, which I was really excited about because I wanted to know more about him and what he looked like and what the deal was with this guy. So we also see the big, at the time when he disappeared, and we say that her adoptive parents, how they think he's trash, how they think it's a traitor.
Right.
She obviously is in love with them. Anything that's associated with Earth, she wants to be near it and explore it. And she's explaining her life from when she lived on Meta to her friends Teacup and the other guy,
River.
River. And while she explained to him how she lived and what her life was like and how she always ran, how she stole a lot, that was just how she lived. She wanted to be free, and how much trouble she got into. She was also coincidentally shopping with them for a school dance. And we see that they all get ready, they all get dolled up, they go to a dance, and then something happens to where I guess she gets embarrassed or something. She runs out. We don't know exactly what happened, but she ends up running out of the dance at the end of this particular issue. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if something like Carrie happened. I didn't see any pig blood on her, but
well, they cover her. They all show up when she's dancing, hose her down in glue, and then throw post-it notes all over her. And call her a whore and call her. I mean, so basically, it is the kind of the Carrie thing, just not dumping pig's blood on her, but they basically. What? Yeah. Right towards the end, right there, right? Did you miss a page? She's dancing, and then
I sure did miss that page.
Yeah, because down there at the bottom it shows them all squirting glue, and then all of these horrible. I was gutted for this part. I mean, because she's just trying. I mean, so she's been spending this whole time talking about the fact it's hard for her to trust anybody. It's harder for her to believe in anybody. And she's feeling, it's kind of like, okay, I'm really actually feeling honest to God bonds with River and Teacup. These are people I actually care about. These are people who seem like they really care about what's going on in my life.
They did this to her.
And I'm talking to them. Well, I don't think River had anything to do with it at all. But Teacup, of course, has still got the pressure on her from the rest of the swim team and who Megan used to be. But by the end of this, Teacup is starting to buy into the fact that maybe Megan really isn't Megan. Maybe Megan really is this shade alien person. She doesn't really want to go through with it, but she goes through it anyway. She basically leads Shade out onto the dance floor, and then the equivalent of I
missed those 2 pages. I guess I skipped over it somehow, but I knew something obviously happened because she was running and she was like, fuck this. And so I figured something like Carrie-esque happened. I just didn't see it.
But I mean, so the notes say bitch, they say whore, they say, hate, they say, fuck, they say all kinds of stuff all over it. Yes, basically
so immature. It's so sad how stupid people are.
Yeah, it actually really bothered me because I was like, oh, what a betrayal. A betrayal. I mean, I get the idea that the person that Shade is inside, that Megan is a horrible human being, a disgusting, monstrous, youth who literally just psychologically tortured people all the time. Mm-hmm. So I get the retaliation against her. It was a real bummer that Teacup was part of it. The Teacup at the last moment didn't go, wait, stop, no, Yeah,
she's a follower. That's how a lot of people are. They're followers.
And then there's this whole lingering thing through the whole comic, because during the whole comic, there's this ping, like somebody's phone getting texts the entire time. You kind of don't know whose it is. You don't know who it is. We get towards the end of it. She kind of shuts it off once. Teacup does. And then she finally looks at it and goes, oh, I really didn't want to do it, but she does it anyway.
And when it all comes down to it, she did it because one person more popular. Meg pretty much going into like, I guess, that coma, and then staying there for a while. The other girls were queen bees.
Yeah.
So
and it was a different artist. This was like a guest artist for this issue. It was Marguerite Sauvage. Is that how you say her name?
Savage, yeah.
Savage.
I like her art.
She does the other thing I see her on a lot is she does all the dream sequences for the Faith comic book, because every issue Faith kind of has like a fantasy kind of thing, and she always does the fantasy parts. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of a cool break of them just kind of this, a lot of it was spent on meta, seeing the whole meta stuff and whatnot.
I would love to see her art more often in this, to be honest.
Yeah. I just really good book. I just really like it. Love the story. Like I said, gutted at the end of it by the whole fact that this betrayal and whatnot. Just felt like a real bummer. Which means it must have been written well enough if I was invested enough to really feel, oh damn it, when it happened.
Yeah, and you remember how she was going on and on and on, and Luma was going on how she wanted to tell Teacup and River to be part of her Earth flock and how she felt connected to them. And
and not now.
Not now, yeah, she's gonna
screw them, screw humans. So now is she just gonna go wandering? Do you think she's done with school?
Yeah, I think she's gonna find some way to leave. We're gonna see her try to deal out in the regular world.
So the first arc has to do with school, the school type stuff, and that kind of craziness. Do you think now, and then we have this kind of like almost a single issue here, kind of single issue story. Are we now going to see her break away and just wander across the madness?
I think so. And then I think what's going to happen is she's going to leave that town or that area. And while she's leaving, I think that ministry woman, that woman who got, put in that weird position, and she's like, the one who killed Rockshade, we're gonna see her come to Earth and start causing some shit to go down, and then Loma's gonna come back and save the world.
It could be. And this is one of those books I don't look at the solicitations at all. I mean, I know I'm gonna get it, so I don't look at any of the text because I don't want to know any. I don't want any hints at the story.
Yeah.
So I just get it. Whereas some books I'm not sure exactly what they are, so I kind of look to see what's coming. So I kind of have a sense of what the story is. This I don't. I don't. I know I'm getting it.
Yeah,
it's just like the Doom
Patrol. The back
what's
matter.
That?
You read the back matter a little bit on Bug, on his character.
Yeah. I did read that. I'm excited for that book too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, cool. Last book I got DC wise was The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom. It continues to be a yawner. It's way too much. It's I think it's got the old school writing, so it's lots of yammer without, I don't know, it's really not that good. I'm not enjoying it a whole lot because it just feels like it's a lot of information that could be given to us in a better way than the writer just filling up massive text boxes with stuff to kind of give us the lowdown on whatever. There's some interest in the fact of him kind of trying to figure out the fact that he's in 2017 again, and he has a kid, and where's that kid, and what's going on, and but it's not anything really complicated. So yeah, just kind of 2 more issues left of it. So clearly I'm going to finish it out because I don't like leaving miniseries undone unless they're so bad, like Man Thing. Then I just drop it right away. But just looking at the comments really quick. That Superman thing I was talking about, Carlos, who is a huge Superman fan, he's one of the go-to people as far as Superman stuff goes. He says that now Superman and Lois are a composite of the pre and post Flashpoint, New 52, and essentially recreated the whole DC universe. So there you go. If you don't know any of that stuff, that means nothing. I know all that stuff, so that's interesting that they've kind of made them into a conglomerate of all of the versions that were out beforehand. So interesting that they would choose to do that.
So it sounds like they're kind of getting ready to maybe base the movies, I guess, the movie characters off of this composite.
That would be awesome.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what they're going to do. If they're doing that with the comics,
Yeah.
They want the comics and the movies to kind of follow suit.
Except for the movie, Superman's dead.
Kind of, not really.
I saw his grave. The dude is dead.
It's one thing. I feel like Superman can never be defeated. Even though I'm obviously I'm a bigger fan of Batman, but I just feel like Superman is undefeatable.
Yeah, well, no, he's not. I mean, he's going to come back in some sense. It'd be crazy if they didn't. Come on, but currently he's dead. So
yeah,
we'll see when that Justice League movie comes out. So.
He'll rise from the dead, a zombie. I don't know. We'll see him.
Yeah.
Bizarro.
There you go. DC news. I think we're under 50 days before Wonder Woman comes out.
Okay.
I'm still excited about it. I don't know of anything else.
I don't either.
Yeah. I haven't been paying attention to the newsy kind of thing. So it's been quiet. It's been quiet on the DC brand. Other than no, I take it back. Batman Metal. That got announced, right? That got announced middle of the week or something like that.
Batman now.
So Metal.
Oh.
Yeah, right. It's the new Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo book that they're going to be doing. It's not an event book, but it is an event book. It's not going to change the DC universe, but it's going to change the DC universe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not just Batman though. It's not. I mean, it starts out being a kind of a Batman book, but my understanding is it's actually going to encompass everything. They're going to throw in, every superhero under the sun kind of a deal. It sounds like to some degree. I'm probably going to end up getting it. I'm going to get it and complain about it the entire time I'm getting it. I'm worrying everybody right now because, I'm sick of event books. I mean, thankfully, DC hasn't had as many, since they relaunched Rebirth as what Marvel is. But I'm not exclusively just hating on Marvel event books. I don't like the DC ones either anymore. So I'm probably a sucker. I'm going to end up getting it, but I'm not at this point not so excited about it. I'm also not so excited about it because Scott Snyder was on Twitter today and he was talking about how great it's going to be, how fun it's going to be, how it's going to be all this, blah, 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 blah. He's basically using the exact same sales pitch that he used for Batman Zero Year. And that ended up frustrating and making me really angry. So I don't know that if you have this sales pitch it that hard, it feels like there might be something wrong. So maybe it's just that he's really excited about it. I don't know. It just, I have my apprehensions and supposedly there's not a lot of other tie-in stuff, I hope, but I don't know. If it wrecks, I get really frustrated when I'm reading an ongoing book and then it has to tie into some event book and it always throws off whatever storyline we're reading at the time. I really feel like if they're going to do an event book and they want characters to have their own individual stories tied into it, that they should be one-shots. So if you want to tie Nightwing into it, do a Nightwing one-shot that is not breaking up, the current book, whatever that is. I feel like the same way about Marvel too. Marvel wants to do an event book, awesome. If they want to have other characters tied into that, have that be an individual book that's outside of the storyline that I'm currently reading, I guess is what I want. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's the only piece of news I remember.
Now that I know it's an event book, I'm a little cautious now. I'm a little hesitant to even maybe pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg Capullo and Snyder Beyond it makes me want to pull it, but then same thing with the Mark Millar and Greg Capullo book.
Reborn.
Yeah, I picked it up for like at least 4 issues. Now it was just not good for me. I know
I'm not a Millar fan, so I didn't pick it up at all. So
yeah, well, it turned me off of Millar completely for at least a year. I'm gonna wait a year to go back with anything that he's on.
Yeah. So, any other DC stuff we want to talk about? No. Let's move on to the independent book, shall we?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk first?
Oh, one of my favorites of this week, Black Cloud.
Black Cloud, right on. The new book by Jason Latour, Ivan Brandon, Greg Hinkle, and Matt Wilson on colors.
Yes, that's me on the cover.
Yeah. I like your pants.
Thank you. Thank you. I made it myself.
Go Hammer. Go Hammer.
I know, right? I love this. This is really good. It was just so interesting and vibrant. We had this young girl who was able to go in and out and shift in and out of dreams, or a fantasy land of some sorts, and she's able to bring people along with her, and she uses this to kind of make ends meet. She kind of lives in a vagrant life kind of lifestyle in our world, and she kind of catches the attention of the mayor. She actually transported his son on one of her little, I guess, dream trips, and he was so taken aback by it that the mayor decided to pay her to take his son away from Earth permanently into the dream world, as infinitely, for as long as he needed him gone.
Yeah, at least get him out of the picture long enough for the mayor to get himself reelected.
Yes.
You get the kind of the impression that the son is one of those kind of out of control rich kids.
Yeah.
Let's get him out of the way at least long enough to for me to get reelected, so he doesn't cause a scandal.
Yeah,
and then he can come back.
Yeah, and then so what happens is they actually go to this dream world or whatever, and she has enemies there. She has enemies because she's able to leave in and out. Apparently, her leaving was what helped still have the land or this world still be in existence. But when she goes in and out, I guess it interrupts something, or it's also some kind of rift that I guess happened where her coming in causes trouble, not only for herself, but for whoever guests that she brings along with her. So now she is trying to stay alive along with her new friend. And we're gonna see how that goes on this little adventure that they're on.
Yeah, I mean, so get this beginning sequence that's all in these kind of, lit by firelight, kind of a thing. So you get the whole kind of oral storytelling, when living life and the oral history and telling stories is important, grounded in all of this stuff. And this guy's basically telling a story and cave painting. This giant bat shows up, and the guy touches a cloud, a lightning, cloud, a little bit of lightning arcs off of it. It nukes this giant bat, kind of thing. We get this first opening sequence about how powerful stories are and that sort of thing. And then, then we find, we get the story of our main character. She's kind of bumming her way through life, kind of a thing. And like you said, she seems to be able to drop into this kind of story world, dream world kind of a thing. She can manipulate. She has power there. She clears a powerful person, more powerful than the rest of the Denzians that are there, except for what happens twice. She's in this bar, and she's basically trying to sell this dream time as a drug, is what she's trying to do. And so she drags Todd in, the mayor's son, into this thing. It gets all kinds of crazy. Things get kind of out of control, and a big massive storm. Lightning shows up, and a big rainstorm comes, and they have to run away from the dreamland. Then she gets hired by the mayor, like you said, to drag Todd back into the dreamland to get rid of Todd for the time being. And then while they're there, they walk past this bar again, start to get into a fight, and that rain starts coming down again with the thunder and the lightning. So clearly there's some powerful nemesis, whether it's the guy we see at the beginning who's manipulating the story and creating that, touching that cloud, or it's somebody else. There's somebody that clearly she's afraid of that has more power there than she does. I think she just abandoned Todd at the very end of this.
I was looking at that too. I was like, did she abandon him, or am I just?
Because he's yelling, hey, don't leave. And she's running off, and she opens up this door. It looks like she's running into a subway, like the real world, a subway of the real world.
Oh, yeah.
And slams the door, it basically says, alas for Todd, I can't afford it, and slams the door. So, I don't know.
Oh, man. So I think what's going to happen, that mayor's going to find out that she left his son and going to be hell for her on Earth.
Yeah. The Hinckley art is great. The Wilson colors are fabulous because, of course, the Dreamland is kind of in a almost black and white, sepia tone grays. And then she's brilliant colored. Some of her adversaries are brilliant colored, but she has the ability to like wash away some of that color and stuff, and the things she touches and manipulates, she creates this color, kind of thing. So it's just really cool. I mean, I just, it's really, I initially got it for the Hinckley art. I really liked his artwork, so I was excited about that. Curious to see what the storytelling ends up being like. Wilson's an excellent color, so just a good mix, just a really good mix of creators on the book to give us, I think, some really excellent storytelling. Here's a picture of kind of the dreamlands landscape kind of thing, just really cool looking. So, yes, I want all the waffles, not just some of the waffles. She orders all the waffles.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see where the story goes. What's going on and whatnot. There's a lot of interesting questions about the book, I think. So
true indeed. True indeed.
It's a keeper. What else do you want to talk about?
This is my second fave. Paper Girls.
Yes, Paper Girls. And just to let everybody know, because I like talking about it, we're back to having tear the covers off and put them together and make a poster. There for a while it skipped. Now you're back to, for those of you crazy enough who want to rip your covers off, you can have a poster hanging up on your wall. I think this is part 3 of the poster. No, this is 2. This is number 2 of the poster. See, it's got, I think it's going to be that the naked satyr thing that was kind of like on the, it was on the hill. That's the top part of it. So
I'm loving this. My favorite scene, I think maybe for you too, the end where we see is it her name's KJ? Is it KJ? Where KJ touches the pyramid thing.
Yes. And
she sees all that. She sees her kissing.
Yeah, she gets this massive flash of, I don't know, the future or some crazy thing here, right? Just different bits and pieces. And, this is 1988. These kids are from 1988. And there's 2 of our paper girls.
Right? They're not paper girls anymore. Paper women.
Right. And she's like extra freaking out, right? It's like, whatever you do, don't touch that. Don't fucking touch it. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be in love soon. That's why.
Yeah. Well, their whole conversation up to this point has been pretty great too, because KJ has just experienced her first period, right? So
are you asking me?
So, right? I mean, that's it is the first, right? So she's like, and our tough girl, right? The tomboy, the kind of tough girl. I can't remember her name right offhand. We find out that she's clueless, really. Because her parents won't. But you youngins that don't remember 1988, you still had to get like all kinds of extra special permission to take sex ed classes and whatnot, and she wasn't allowed. She's like, "You kidding? My parents heard. My dad heard anything that had sex in it. There's no way I was gonna get to to learn anything about it." So she's clueless. So she's asking all these really ridiculous questions about, are you crazy now? Because her brothers tell her that when you're on the rag, as she refers to it, when you're on the rag, you're crazy and whatnot, and she, KJ's like, well, I had a clean hanky, and that's what I'm using to take care of the problem. And she's like, you have a hanky? What, are you an old man? Because you carry a hanky? I don't know.
She sounds like to me because that's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
Right. There's just a lot of really fun little bits and pieces of dialogue in here. The beginning is great too, with the Aaron and I can't remember the other girl's name, where they're talking about like, oh, the baby's so cute. No. And then the native of here, she's like, oh yeah, babies aren't cute. They're they're painful and terrifying. She's just like, I don't know.
I love when she kept saying stuff, and that one word when she kept saying one word, it kept saying untranslatable because they didn't know what she was saying until the close to the end where they see the untranslatable.
Yeah, they're like, I'm like, oh shit! I wonder if that's what's untranslatable. Yes. Lots of good stuff in this. I mean, we get the whole hockey stick comes around in this issue,
Yep.
which was awesome. I mean, that's a great kind of a spin back to it. Mac. That's right. It's Mac.
Yep.
Thanks, Chaco. But yeah, just a really great book. Love the art. Love the colors. Another Matt Wilson colored book, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really smart. And every issue we get, I don't know, something like this that makes you just kind of go,
What?
yeah, exactly. I want to see when that comes up, kind of thing. Because we're hopping around to the future, into the past, and this whole thing with this woman time traveler who's writing a secret note, recording a secret note to herself saying, basically, oh shit, don't go travel through time because it looks like we screwed up. We basically poisoned the timeline. All of our tests, we were dumping all this crap through, and these people, are using it. These guys look like these mudmen kind of guys, look like bad guys.
Yeah.
They don't sound like bad guys though. They're looking for their son.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I was just about to mention that. Like, they were looking for their child, so they're tying her up and they're about to torture her ass because they want the child.
And he cuts open his palm and shoves in a circuit board into his palm, and he can talk. They can understand him and whatnot. But just great book. I was super excited by it.
Where did he get that though? I was wondering where he got that little circuit thing that he's
junk. I think it's just some of the junk that's dumped through. I mean, the guy's also wearing a
How do you think he knew? I hope they explain this. How did he know to do that?
I just think that they've done enough because they had that pile. They're all laying there sleeping, waiting for her to wake up, and they have this pile of stuff. And I think they've just kind of figured out over time how to utilize this stuff. So good stuff.
It's just such an intriguing book. And you know what? This is I have to say, it's one of the books from Image that I pull, and I just love pulling as singles. Like, I don't see myself going to a trade. Mm-hmm. With Saga, I always go in and out. Like, oh, I'm gonna put this in trade. I'm gonna get in trade now. Oh, I'm gonna pull in singles. But honestly, this is one of the only books that I do not mind waiting another month to get it, and then waiting, was it 3-4 months break?
Yeah, it's a break of a couple months. Yeah.
So I love Paper Girls. I just love it. I don't want to go without this book.
Yeah, really for sure. For sure. Let's see. I'm talk Baltimore. I don't know. Did you read Baltimore, the Red King?
Red Kingdom? I didn't get to that one.
Okay. Not a lot I'm going to say about it anyway. It's just everything's kind of moving forward. As far as their battle with the Red King. The Red King has got himself in a position where he thinks he's going to get more power. And of course, Baltimore is slowly creeping up on him, and we're going to see exactly where that all ends up landing at and whatnot. So, yeah, I am enjoying it, but it's not like anything that's like, oh my gosh, happening. Yeah. I would suspect this is issue 3 of 5. I figure the next 2 issues are going to be nuts, is what I'm guessing. So, yeah. What else? What else do you want to talk?
Savage Things, issue number 2. Yes. I'm enjoying Savage Things. I mean, it's a little take on, honestly, what it reminded me of when I read it. What's that one that everyone was going wild over? That Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerra did with Cain and Abel. It was a retelling of Cain and Abel. It was
Goddamned.
Yeah, this reminds me of that, but just taking place in a more modern time and agencies and covert ops kind of thing going on. It's just pretty much the same thing when you think about it, just a little different. I mean, and in this one we kind of see where this guy Abel has to take out Cain, which is a little different too, because usually Cain's the one that kills Abel, but Abel wants to kill Cain in this little situation where I guess Cain's group, when he went off on a mission they were sent out to go and complete, they were actually set up to be murdered.
Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, the government decided that they had too much exposure and they need to get rid of this secret ops, because this is a secret ops. These guys aren't just like they aren't just like black ops that go in and shoot the bad guy. They go in and terrorize. They behead people. They're the real shock and awe, as they call themselves in this. They're the real. They terrorize everywhere they go. They're psychotic killers. They're not. They're
sociopaths.
Right. And they send them off on a mission, and they actually show up with drones and hellfire them to death, is what they hope to do. Except it doesn't work. They don't take them out. And so now that entire black ops, this entire psycho evil killers, are now went to seek revenge, and they've shown up in the city, and they are going to attack the city. They've started this. They're starting out small. We get, by the end of this issue, we get this kind of exposure to the fact that they're all over the city, and they're going to do all kinds of evil, right?
Yeah.
Well, the interesting parts about this, of course, is we get the whole Cain and Abel thing. We get some like backstory about when they were younger, that they refer to one of them as being Cain in his group. And Abel's this guy he's basically a sociopath too, but he has these kind of what they consider weak moments where he'll protect people. He protected Cain. They call him Abel. They actually let him escape. We find out that he escaped. He's not part of the Black Ops. He's kind of doing his own thing. But he thinks that they're evil. I mean, he's evil too, but it's like his evil is directed at their evil, so that makes his evil not as bad a evil.
Yeah.
And then we find out that they've kind of let him escape because they want him to go and take out these guys. So it's basically him versus the rest of this group of psychotics is what it sounds like it's going to be, right?
Yeah. I like it. It's definitely fresh, for sure. Definitely different, but it has some tropes that you've seen in other places.
Yeah.
It's like it's just mashed in a way where it's unique and can stand on its own.
Yeah, it has some of the kind of Black Ops, like you said, tropes that are kind of common to this kind of a story. Somebody tries to they send the Black Ops out to do something, and somebody tries taking them out, kind of a thing. So that part is nothing new. But of course, the level that these guys take it to. I mean, they're during hostage negotiations. The police have their blowhorns, and they like, we just want to talk to you, and their response is, they throw out a severed head with no carved in the head, carved in the forehead. It's how they respond back. So I mean, the book has taken that kind of carnage, to top level as far as that kind of stuff goes. So
I mean, I want to keep getting it mainly because of the fact that Mustafa's on it. I love his art.
Yeah, same here.
So I have a couple of hardcovers by him. So yeah, I'm gonna keep getting it. I want Vertigo to flourish. So I don't want to see them going.
This is an 8-issue series, is what it's set for right now. So we'll see. But Sheriff of Babylon started out as an 8-issue series too, and then of course went on for a year, and it's going to get another season. So we'll see where that goes to. I'm not saying that this is anything like Sheriff of Babylon, because it's not. But yeah.
I wish I had jumped in that one title, Sheriff of Babylon.
Yeah, good stuff. And it was really good to read in single issues.
Yeah.
Get the trade, if nothing else. What else? What else do you want to talk
about? Let's see. I don't know if you're picking up. Did you pick up this one? Rock Candy Mountain?
I didn't. I debated back and forth, and then I kind of went. I mean, somebody had mentioned that it was basically a book about hobos fighting, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to see a bunch of street people beating the hell out of each other. So I kind of decided not to. What's it like?
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's pretty much hobos beating each other up. I mean, we also have like a very nefarious character in here that mimics the devil. Apparently, we have this one particular vagrant man who is in search of Rock Candy Mountain, which is, if some people don't know, it's a song from.
They don't have beards though. That right? That guy doesn't have a beard.
I know.
How can you be a hobo and not have a beard? Come on.
I know, right? But his other friends, they have beards.
Okay.
his non-friends, enemies. But yeah, he's pretty much in search of this Rock Candy Mountain. So of course, all his other encounters he's had with other hobos, they feel like he's crazy. They're like, okay, Rock Candy Mountain's not real. It's a song. Why are you out and search for it? But he doesn't care. He's searching for it. In the meantime, he's being, searched for by the devil. The devil, and is killing tons of hobos trying to search for this man. His name's Jackson. And while Jackson is on the train trying to look for, Rock Candy Mountain, he encounters this one guy who just has a string of bad luck. Is a real nerdy character who, when he was, think of his own moniker, when Jackson asked him, hey, what do you want to be called? What is your hobo name? He says, Miss Kitty Dragon. And he was like, how about we just call you, what did he damn say?
Miss Kitty Dragon, that's awesome.
He's a fire kitty dragon. He says, how about I just call you Hollywood Slim? Because the guy tried to go to Hollywood and it failed as an actor. He failed everything. He failed at life, and he just.
So when is this set?
This is to me. It feels like it's set in 1930s, 40s.
So it's set during the Depression.
Yeah, it's set kind of after the Depression when railroad work was really prominent, where we had a lot of transits going in and out of town, and so that Rock Candy Mountain is a song, as I was saying earlier,
right.
was a song that kind of popularized that lifestyle, that transient lifestyle. There's actually like a genre of music that kind of targeted that type of lifestyle, where we had people that were going in and out of different towns trying to find a better way of life. Trying to bring about better luck and just trying to make ends meet, living day to day. That's what the hobo lifestyle is,
Sure.
Trying to make each day last, and hopefully next day is better. So I think I guess the undertones of this book is pretty much about hobos and how they struggle to kind of make ends meet, and how they're trying to live day to day, and they're trying to meet that glorious Rock Candy Mountain, but they encounter the devil and other different hobos that they have to fight off and kill. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It was entertaining, and to me, it reminded me so much of Kyle Stark's last book, Sex Castle, which I enjoyed a lot. It was really 80s-esque. It did have the same kind of tropes in here, where we have a lot of fighting and kicking and strategic. Ninja moves and stuff in here, but it's just a little different with the hobos and stuff infused in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I read issue 15 of They're Not Like Us.
It's Image, right?
Yes, this is Image book. Yeah, this is written by Eric Stevenson, who's one of the VPs of Image proper. Simon Gain on art. Biggest reason I enjoy the book. I love Simon Gain's art on this book. Wonderful colors by Jay Blary. It's still interesting. I think this is coming to an end relatively soon. I think Brandon McHammer told me that it was coming to an end here pretty quickly. I think Brandon and me are about the only people I know off the top of my head for sure that are still reading it. There's still a lot of psychological warfare going on. There's at least 3 groups of these people with powers, secret powers, that are working against each other to see who can kind of come out on top. Some of them just want to live their lives, but they've decided that, we have to go and put down all the other groups for us to live our lives. And so I think a battle is kind of ensuing in this. More and more regular people are discovering that these people with superpowers exist. So that's starting to get interesting. They have been pretty much secret this whole time. There's a couple policemen who now know. And so that larger exposure could create all kinds of havoc and whatnot. One of the things I always love about all of Eric Stevenson's books, this and Nowhere Man, they literally use every single page is the comic. I mean, the cover is actually like the first panel of the story. Last month it was have you ever gotten punched in the nose or wanted to punch somebody in the face, kind of a thing. And it was the guy getting his face punched off. So I always appreciate that. That's why they put the actual little Initia, stuff, who's produced it on the cover right down the bottom, because literally everything clear to the very back page is comic. And I love that too. For my $2.99, I'm truly getting my money's worth, because there's not anything in it that's not comic. So I really like them for that too. Still really enjoying it, but like I said, it's at the end of the thing. Not anything you could just jump into. You would not have a clue as what the hell is going on if you jumped into the middle of it. So it's kind of a, if you haven't been getting it, if you can find the singles cheap, awesome. Otherwise, pick up a trade if you have a curiosity about it, because it's not jumping friendly at all.
I've always been interested in it because the covers look so sick. They look awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that last cover where that guy was face.
Get his face punched off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. What else? What are you going to talk about?
Kim Reaper. This is an Ani Press book, new book that's coming out, where we have this one girl named Becca who is really, really infatuated with this girl named Kim, who is a Grim Reaper. She's a part-time Grim Reaper. She's
nice.
She's works as a Grim Reaper to make ends meet, to kind of pay off her school. and while the two are in class, in fine arts class, and Becca is like staring the hell out of Kim once again, her friend's trying to get her to stop concentrating on Kim and concentrating on her studies. She thinks of the bright idea to invite Kim out with her on a date with her and her friend to the pub. And when she goes to chase after her, Kim opens up a portal to go to someone's house to kill their cat, to bring their cat to the other side, and so she accidentally stifles her from killing the cat. The cat gets away, and then the owner comes home, and they think, okay, the owner's gonna be an old woman. Maybe they can explain to her what they need to do to get this cat to go cross over. And they encounter, let me show you the guy. They encounter this guy.
Holy cows.
Yeah, and there's like tons of cats. And so now, they're like, they try to explain to him, like, this crazy, weird cat guy. And they're like, hey, we need to take your cat to the other side. Can you please let us do that? And they're like, no. And he's like holding this dead cat. Like, we need to take him to the other side. He's like, no, there must be some mistake. Cat, rejoice. Connect to me. And then they all like get on his body and
Oh.
He's about to take him out. He's about to take out Kim and Becca. And before he attacks them, Becca says to Kim, has this ever... And she's like, no, this has never ever happened to me. So yeah, it's funny. It's cute. I knew it was going to be really cute and funny. It is even cuter than I thought. I love it. I love it.
Awesome. That's why you don't take dates with you while you're working.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
Nice. So I read issue number 10 of Faith. In this issue, the Faithless gather up. All of her basically nemesises from the last 9 issues have kind of collected themselves together. Our has-been reality TV star who's actually an alien, who's part of a hive mind of aliens. Danger Mouse, basically, who's like a cultist who can bring up the black arts. This guy who plays all these superheroes, and he plays the equivalent of Captain America. Everybody loves him, and this evil psionic monster who's trapped in the body of a cat right now. They have gathered themselves together, and they're going after Faith, and they're calling themselves. They started out to call themselves the Faithless Four, and then which suggested that maybe it was not a good idea to let them know there were only 4 of them, so they changed their name to the Faithless. But pretty funny. It's just basically them gathering themselves up to basically go after Faith, because Faith is pretty much wrecks their lives all the time. Anytime they try to do whatever evil thing there is, she somehow gets in their way and shuts them down. So we get them tired of her, and they're going to come after her. Just a fun superhero comic, kind of thing. So some good fun. Got a good laugh out of it. Entertained, waiting to see what happens next with the Faithless coming to get her. So
I like Faith. I pretty much like to read her when I'm reading the Renegade one?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Renegades. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Harbinger Renegade.
What's that?
Harbinger Renegade? Renegade Harbinger or whatever.
Maybe that's what it's called. Yeah. I think that's what.
That's a good series. I like that one. I kind of fell off a little bit, but
yeah. Yeah. And pretty soon, coming up here pretty quick is the next, as far as Valiant stuff goes, The
Yeah.
next Britannia is coming out
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm getting all the David Mack covers.
in May. So, I was thinking there was something else I saw in here that, as far as Valiant stuff goes, I thought was kind of interesting that I might pick up. I don't remember what it was though, so I'll have to check it out. I can't remember. I'll have to check it out. I can't remember what it was, but it looked like there was another book in here that looked like it might be interesting. So, I don't remember what it was though. Secret Weapons. I'm gonna have to check out Secret Weapons. There's an ad in the back of it, and it sounds like it might be kind of cool. So, comes out in June. So I'll have to do some reading up on that. I'm curious about the Valiant universe. I know it's big and constantly has stuff spinning into each other and whatnot. So I've only like dabbled in like the Shadow Man stuff and then Faith. So I don't know exactly what all's going on there. So
Yeah.
what else? What else you got?
Let's see. This is a pretty good read. This is a Vault comic called Colossi. I really enjoyed this. This is issue number 1. We are first introduced to some characters. You know, this beautiful black woman with an afro. She is like, I guess maybe she's a pilot who's heading this expedition. I mean, and yeah, she's leading these people, I guess, to some kind of land, I guess, to explore. And they somehow crash land in this town called Tolerance. And the nun on their trip is attacked by this big, huge spider scorpion. And they immediately leave off the shuttle. They try to find some shelter. They end up in this toy store. And from this point, actually, from the point where they actually leave the shuttle, we find out that once they enter the land of Tolerance, or the town of Tolerance, that they're actually like Thumbelina sized. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so these people that we encounter on this this shuttle, they're small, they're super small, and so they break it, enter into the store, and then they're trying to stay out of the way of a cat or cats that are in this toy store and trying to find food. They actually end up taking some of the cats' food, and while they're doing that, one of the I guess it's a cybernetic android that's with them named Zeus. He runs for cover, trying to help save them, and he gets snatched up by a bird, like a raven. And the raven brings him back to the cat, and he is like pretty much torn to shreds on the table. It's crazy. I was like, oh my god, yeah, completely dismembered. I was like, this is really good. Like, I really didn't expect it. I mean, because you see these little people, you don't think they're little people. You don't think that they're
Sure.
like Thumbelinas, but yeah, they're miniature little people, and they don't know that they're miniature.
Interesting.
They think they're in some kind of weird world, but I think what it is that they're just, maybe fairies or something. I don't know. It's just very interesting, sci-fi-ish, fairy fantasy kind of like, and
that's a Vault comic, right?
yeah, whole comic. I liked it. Yeah,
Interesting.
just fun. It was just a fun read.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Another Vertigo book, Ever After, for the Pages of Fables, beginning of a new arc. We see there's a character who kind of was an adversary in the last arc of our Fable agents, and she has a dossier. She's at a house. She has a dossier on all of the Fables, and she's clearly being hired to like take out the Fable, secret agents is what she's doing. We find out that it's her home that she's at. Her kid, she discovers her kid is home. Her kid was supposed to be with the ex-husband. She gets in this argument with the ex-husband about whether or not he was supposed to pick her up or not. Kid's like, that's fine. I'll let some of my friends come over. We'll hang out over the weekend. She goes, oh, well, okay. Cause she's like, I'm sorry, I have to work so much. And she takes off to work. Then most of the comic has to do with the kids. The kids are wandering around the house, and the son keeps insisting that he believes his mom is some sort of secret agent, and maybe she has to do something with the Fables. And his friends are like, yeah, all right, whatever. They end up finding this secret room inside of her bedroom that has all this magical weaponry and stuff in it. And each one of the kids takes a magical item. That magical item like calls to them. And they're like, well, this is going to be kind of fun, whatever. We'll see what happens. They end up going to school the next day. And while they're at school, they get picked on by bullies because they're kind of the nerds. and they whip out their magic items, and basically it becomes a giant Columbine kind of an event. They blow kids up. They use spells and just start wrecking the place. They're making the girls kiss each other. Because I mean these like 13 15-year-old boys and all the horrible stuff they could get up to. Just all kinds of crazy stuff happens, and the woman discovers that oh my God, that her son is part of this whole craziness that's going on. She calls the Fables up, tries to get a hold of them. They get in contact with her, and of course they hate her because she messed with them. And they're going to take her out. And she's like, look, I'm just a small fish. You want the big guys, the guys that are actually, doing all this kind of stuff that are whatever. I need your help with my son and this crazy thing that's going on. They're like, well, if you're attached to these guys, why don't you just ask them? She's like, because those aren't the type of people you ask things of. You just do whatever they tell you to do. You don't ask favors of them. So she's in cahoots with the Fables. She wants them to help her rescue her son, even though her son's a monster. And then she will spill the beans on this other group. So
He's about to die. Sounds like to me.
Yeah, it ends with this total chaos. The kids are yelling out of the school saying, "Hey, I still have 2,000 hostages. They're all hungry. So you better call all the pizza parlors, and all the pizza parlors better send us all the pizza because we're all hungry, and you better send us new condoms because the condoms that the school nurse had were all expired, and we need new condoms." And that's kind of where it ends at. So,
oh goodness,
yeah, it's grim. I mean, and some of the bullies, some of the jocks and stuff that they take out. I mean, they shred them. I mean, they actually just blow them to pieces all over the place. It's just total bonkers.
Ooh, yeah. I don't remember ever after being this. I mean, this dark. I mean, it was dark.
Yeah,
goodness.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, because like I said, they're kind of a black ops kind of thing, and they deal with some pretty nasty stuff. So, yeah.
Sounds like the Savage thing, doesn't it?
It does. It's got some same elements like that. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What else? I've only got one book left.
Yeah, I'm kind of teetering on because the other ones weren't really noteworthy. Planetoid Praxis.
Okay. This is issue number 3, right?
Yeah, issue number 3 by Ken Garin. He illustrates it and writes it. We're now encountering where this I guess colony called Heliocor has come on to the Planetoid Praxis, and what they're doing is they're trying to set up camp and establish like a new city. They're trying to civilize the Planetoid. So they're now coming to the natives of Planetoid and they're telling them, hey, we're gonna give you this contract, you sign it, and you tell us what territory you want to claim, but we're pretty much taking over, and so they like, well, no, this is our planet. We're gonna tell you where to steer clear of, so we're not signing this thing. So pretty much, I mean, the whole comic dealt with the leader of a Planetoid, kind of telling off these lawyers and this new civilization colony, and also we find out, from the first issue where her camp, they killed this one explorer that came down to the planet, and for no reason. We find out that this person was a student just coming to explore from his university, and the guy who gave her the contract was like, hey, about 6 years ago, there was a guy who came down here he was a student from university. He came to explore. Do you remember him? And she tries to feign and fake like she didn't know who it was. She's like, no, I don't know who it is. And then he's like, okay. But I think they know that she killed him, or that her group killed them. So I think something's gonna happen, like something really bad's gonna happen now that when they find out that she killed or her group killed this student that came here. He was innocent. There was nothing. He wasn't there to do anything to them, but they took him as a threat because he couldn't translate or talk with them. But yeah, it's getting pretty good. I really, really enjoy it. It's definitely different vibes than the previous volume. The previous one was more of a survivalist kind of sci-fi story, while this one is more so, it's kind of waging on some kind of soon-to-be war. So a lot of conflict. We have a lot more conflict in here than we did with the prior one.
Oh.
Yeah. And a lot of politics too. So I feel like it's definitely a play on social commentary right now, with people trying to take over land that's not theirs and things like that. Just something that we see throughout time, you know.
Sure. Cool.
I like it.
Well, the last book I read was an Aftershock comic,
Ooh.
Eleanor and the Grit. I really enjoyed it. I don't know that we know a whole lot in the first issue. It's written by John Layman, who a lot of people might know from Chew, with Sam Keith doing the art, and that's the kind of the big reasons I was wanting to pick it up is the Sam Keith art. I love the cover. I love the curves of Eleanor there. It basically Eleanor. It's got a prequel at the beginning of this that she's. For some reason, she's in this, like evening gown, and she's racing through the swamp, and she trips and falls, and there's an egg. And then flash forward to current times, and she is an art thief. She is at this art museum in France, and there's this wonderful piece of art here, and she and the Ygritte, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, they steal the painting. There's a art detective in this. He's a detective who specializes in tracking down art, and all they have for evidence is a feather, and they can't figure out exactly what happened because all they've got is this feather. So he takes this feather, wanders down the street, trying to decide how he's going to figure out how to discover who robbed this place or whatever. And he comes across basically an animal, a pet shop. Goes into the pet shop, and he happens to run into Eleanor is in this pet shop. She actually lives above the pet shop, and here she is, like her normal wear, I guess. I don't know. She steers him clear, kind of gives him this story about the feathers being a parrot, feather and all this kind of stuff, and he's immediately giving her the eyes and the old kissing the hand stuff and whatnot. And she's kind of like, that's okay, goodbye, kind of thing. Yeah, we don't know why she stole the art. She's not going to sell it. She's not going to do anything with it. She looks like she's reproducing some other art or whatever. And the bird swallows it at the end, actually eats it.
Wowzer.
It's really kind of strange. I love the art, but like I said, because I like Sam Keith's art style. He's just got kind of strange art style. I just have no idea what's really going on in the story for sure. I mean, I know what's going on, but I don't know where it's going, I guess is what it is. In the next issue, it shows a whole bunch more animals. I don't know if the other animals talk too. I mean, when this thing talks, it has kind of this, it's kind of a brownish yellow word bubble that's shadowed. So I don't know if it's actually talking or if it's chirping and squawking and she knows what it's saying or what. I'm just not exactly
I'm confused
sure
on why I ate the art.
I don't know. And like I said, the detective has this cat. Look, that's for a French poster, right? An Art Deco poster.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have a little clue there that says who gets this one. Anyway, the artist put that there. But like he has this cat that walks around with him. The police chief has a little, like a toy Yorkie. So they all like have animals. It's just really kind of, it's really kind of odd. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. The bird eats it because the bird, they're talking about that they're going to sell the art and you can't sell it. It's worth a lot of money, but it's worth a lot of money, right? She's like, probably, I don't know. I don't care, but I'm not going to sell it. That much is certain. It isn't about the money. And then the bird goes slurp, licks its beak and goes, no, I know it's not. And no matter how much the painting is worth, I bet one thing's for certain. And it goes, and it opens up and chomps down on it. And he goes, yep, I was right. It tastes like $1 million. And now it's square shaped like the painting. I don't know.
That's going to be hell for that thing to poop it out.
Oh, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no idea. It was weird and whimsical, and because of that, I like it enough. And the art, like I said, kudos to the kudos to the colorist, Rhonda Patterson, because she does a lot of heavy lifting in this. I mean, the curves and everything are Sam Keith, but the pieces of art, that's the colorist. I mean, because this page is actually in the back. They do some process stuff to show what it looks like. And that's a blank square, and the colorist does the actual art there.
Yeah.
But just I like her touches of art, her touches of color on these things. It's mostly black and white, just the little faint pieces of. There she is, faking that she's there looking at the art, and the bird's actually wrapped around her hat as part of the ornament of her hat. I don't know. I just, like I said, I like it. It's not a book that I would say to anybody else, oh my gosh, you should run out and get this. Because it's one of those kind of things that a lot of people are going to read it and go, this is just dumb. But I don't know. I just, like I said, I like the art. I like the kind of oddness to it. So I'll be around for a few issues. One thing that I will say, I also think is really interesting. Most all of the Aftershocks comics, if you read the fine print, whose book it is, who has the copyright, all of them have the writer as the copyright, and nobody else has copyright. Like normally it would just be like the Animosity, for instance, is just Marguerite Bennett. That's whose copyright. And these are all copyright, both John Layman and Sam Keith. So they're considered co-creators on the book, and they both have copyright. But most all the other Aftershock comics seem to be set up to where they hire a writer, and then they go find an artist for the writer. Is how they seem to work.
Mm.
But but that was interesting. I am curious.
The other book, The World Reader.
Yes, I'm going to get that. Yeah, that image alone makes me want to get it. I've been enjoying the Juan Doe's artwork. So
Yeah, me too.
so yeah, I don't know anything about Jeff Loveless. I don't know what else they've done or whatever. So that's supposed to be coming out this month. We're finally going to get issue 4 of Shipwreck 2 this month, supposedly. So
Oh God, finally.
I know it. I was just thinking while I was reading this one, I'm like going, that book hadn't ended yet, had it? Because it seems like it's been a long time since the last issue came out. So
I love Shipwreck. That's one of my
Yes.
favorite books for
same
past year.
here. Same here, because we're really starting to get some kind of, feels like we're starting to get some idea of what's really going on in the book. So I'm excited about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been enjoying the Aftershocks comics. Their current sales pitch, I don't really care for.
What
It's like the latest. They're what is it? It's, let me see it. Yeah. Oh, it's let's see. A new series that had to be told at Aftershocks Comics. That's what they're all said now. A brand new series that had to be told at Aftershock Comics.
Huh.
Like it couldn't be told anywhere else. Like Baby Teeth, for instance. I'm going to get that too.
Oh yeah, me too. I was gonna get that.
Books with Gary Brown. I like all those creators. So being 16 can be tough. Having a baby could be hell. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll get Jimmy's Bastards though. Jimmy's Bastards. That's another Garth Ennis book.
I'm not getting that one. Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna get it because I love Garth Ennis. I'm just a huge Garth Ennis fan.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to find out more about what that's about.
I'm a little surprised he's going with Aftershock. Usually he does like Avatar now strictly.
Right.
Or
Right.
either he'll go to Vertigo or that's pretty much kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people, there was another book too that I was gonna message you about on or tweet you whatever, and I was like, "Are you gonna get this?" I don't know what it is. I can't think of it right now, but it was kind of shocked me to see the creator on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was I'm gonna have to look it up back in this list in my cart, but I was like, whoa. They're like doing a book for this company,
Oh, really? Huh.
Well,
If you come across it, you'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
So Jockio's asking no extremity. It's very cool. I'm screwed up. I didn't jump on that. I'm betting that yes, Rez has it.
I read it. I just didn't. I figure I'll end when Travis ends, but I could talk about it.
Was it just kind of okay this time? I mean, the first issue, everybody was really excited about the first issue, right? This is the second issue, right?
Yeah, the second issue. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, there was definitely some reveals here on the family or the kingdom that came in and cut the young girl's, the artist's hand off and pretty much took their home away from her and her family. We find out who that family or kingdom is. It's pretty grotesque finding out what they look like. I mean, I gotta show you. It was really crazy. But we just kind of find out who these people are, and that one musician that they cut his hands off because he had reveled and seen her hand get cut off.
Right.
She revenged back and cut his hands off for being happy about her hands getting cut off. We see him go back to his kingdom and tell the queen, this nefarious queen, what happened. And so now a war is raged Wage. I'm sleepy. And we see that she has like this huge gash in her freaking face. I don't know if you can see it. But she has,
yeah.
she has this huge gash in her face. So she starts kind of getting ready her one of her soldiers, and we found out that's her daughter. And so the daughter's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go." And this is what she looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, disgusting, right? Her freaking nose, her whole entire face is just like mauled. I don't know what happened to her, but I think they were mentioning something about a daughter. The reason why that girl got her hand cut off was a result of those people, her people, disfiguring that one at the end, that one girl at the end. She's apparently very, very beautiful. People would stop and stare at her because she was so beautiful. And then when that family did something to her, that kingdom decided to get revenge by coming down on that territory and cutting that artist's hand off, and then just it created a cycle of war and revenge.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. I just was the most exciting book I read this week.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Any other books you want to talk about?
I mean, I read Darkness, and I read The Darkness Visible, issue number 3.
So how's that going?
It's gone pretty good. I mean, I think issue 1 and 2 were better. It's kind of this issue kind of was just more so talking heads. We have Winston Churchill in talks with the Shaitan queen, and Victoria, where he's talking to her and he's trying to win the war. And so she's trying to she's pretty much getting him to recruit 10 young people that are willing to sacrifice their body to the Shaitan people so that she can help Winston Churchill win. And he pretty much signs her over a nice big check and some territory, some land for her and her Shaitan people. It was a pretty good issue. It just, again, was more talking heads. And I guess the last book that I read was Tara Moore's Motor Girl, issue number 5, which I'm enjoying. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. Of course, the aliens, I'm still trying to figure out how they really fit into this. We have this one corporation just trying to force Libby to sell. We have Sam, who is not wanting that to happen. We have the leader or the guy who is trying to send out his goons to harass Sam. We have him actually come out, and he tells her, "Hey, I know that you have all these health issues. I can get you the top, best medical care alive, but you have to get Libby to make her sell the land. We need this land." And he says, "Now you have 24 hours to accept my offer. If you don't, we're still going to set up here and we're going to force you out." And so that's pretty much what's happening. And we also see one of the guys who got abducted last issue. He actually wakes up and sees that the alien is like a kind of dog-looking thing, and he thinks, "Oh, it's a friendly little alien." And then there's smoke in the room, and the alien clears the smoke out of the room, and he sees all these different humans that have been mutilated and turned into half animals, half humans, like they've been operated on. And so now he knows he's going to be operated on. It's just really crazy.
Oh.
I don't know exactly how the aliens fit in there, but it's very wacky.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Crazy. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's it. That's pretty much it for me.
Alrighty. I don't know any indie news. I don't know anything that's as far as that kind of stuff goes and whatnot. So I guess we'll be done, huh?
I got a little bit of indie news. Just
sure. Okay.
Titan's Hard Case Crime has two new titles coming out.
That's right.
For the solicit. So they have one called was it Goldman Nancy or something like that, and then they have another one for the girl with the dragon tattoo, which is the one I'm really excited about because I love that movie. I actually love the books more, but the original movies, not the ones that are
the Swedish ones. The Swedish ones.
Yes, the Swedish ones. Those are the best ones. If you're gonna watch the ones with Noomi Rapace. Those are the best ones. And so I'm like really, really pumped to see what they're gonna do with the comics. Like if they're gonna follow the actual literature that was written.
Yeah, I'm really curious, but like I talked a little bit with you on Twitter about it. I'm just really curious because the girl with the dragon tattoo and the book that came after that, Vertigo produced both of those books. Actual graphic novels of both of those books. So I just think it's really interesting that it doesn't seem, I mean, maybe it was a long time ago. Maybe it was a lot longer than it seems like. In my head, it doesn't seem like it's been that long ago that those came out. It's just really curious that somebody else would then get the rights to produce a comic book of it also. So that'll be really interesting. And those are such big books. There's a lot to take in there. How much of that do you think? I'm just really curious to see with that story, what do they choose to put in the comic? What don't they choose to put in the comic? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they just gonna go? Are they just gonna go for the graphic stuff? I mean, are they spend their time with the torturing of what's her name and that sort of stuff? How much time are they going to spend concentrating on that end of it versus the other end? I don't know. It'll be really curious to see how that all plays out or whatnot. So
yeah, I feel the same. As long as they don't mess it up like they did the movie, the American version movie. I think we'll be good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've only seen like the first 15 minutes or so of the American version of those. I really like the Swedish version the best.
Yeah, I watched the Swedish version so many times. It's crazy. Like it's just so much better on so much fronts. I tried to watch American one and I just thought to myself, Daniel Craig, I like him, but he just was not made for that role.
Well, the French version the Swedish version isn't about the pretty people either, right?
Yeah, it's like real looking people.
Everybody feels like real people. Whereas, clearly once it gets to American cinema, it's got to be Hollywooded up, basically. Now, the soundtrack for the American version is awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's all those kind of things, whatnot. I'm just glancing over the comments. Ryan C is here and he's asking if anybody's reading Providence. Of course, Rez is. She's reading Providence. Ryan C also said that he hopes that they get a better editor for the Hard Craves books. So that's the second person that I know that has commented on the fact that they have some editorial problems on those books. Because Comic Crack was commenting also that they have lots of bad editing. They miss typos and that sort of stuff.
I was just about to say that I had finally got to reading the last issue of Reassignment or The Assignment, whatever they want to call it, and I was like, there's some typos in there. I was like, what is this? Why is this happening? And I see Ryan saying something about them being very aggressive as far as licensing Doctor Who.
Right.
Again, it makes me kind of wonder why, because no one really gets Doctor Who stuff. Like I am actually getting a lot of.
I mean, I don't, but I know people who are huge Hugh fans that don't read any other comic books and they read that comic. So it's not.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get the Doctor Who stuff. I do get the Doctor Who comic every once in a while, and Torchwood as well. But I don't see a lot of people grabbing it up. Like honestly, at all my comic shops, you just see tons and tons and tons of boxes, long boxes full of that stuff. Not saying that people don't get it, but maybe not in this area.
So also, it's kind of addressing some of the comments. Gotham Central, that's Luke. Luke is asking if we think that you wouldn't know because he's been reading it. Nightwing, the end of Nightwing, the villain that's the end of Nightwing. If he's going to show up in the Batman, no, I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be in Batman at all. Because in the Batman books we've got coming up, we've got the Button crossover, and then after that we've got some Swamp Thing stuff. I don't think we're going to see Dr. Hurt. I think Hurt. I think Hurt has more to do with Dick and Damian and that history, right? Because that's the whole Grant Morrison stuff and whatnot all was based around that. So that's kind of what I think. That's going to stay with the Nightwing stuff because that's kind of like his nemesis, I think, more than. Well, I mean, I guess that's wrong. I mean, I guess he really did mess with Batman too, but I really think it's going to stay in the Dick stuff. I don't think it's going to go to the Batman stuff. But so anyway, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, okay. So been good talking with you. It's a good decent week of books. Have no idea what's coming out next week. I'm not even gonna bother to look. I mean, I'm sure it'll be something good. There's always something good comes out, right? So
very true. I think honestly, I feel like this week was a little bit. I mean, not as much as I thought I would be reading. Like it wasn't a whole lot of stuff I was super excited about, but.
Yeah, but I guess for me, maybe that was the case, but I didn't have any awful books either. I didn't have any books that I'm like, oh man, you know, I guess the Captain Atom, but beyond that, there wasn't any books where I like, okay, it's time to read this now and read it. So I mean, so I like that. If I can get a week that's like that, then that's pretty good. So, so I guess we'll call it a night. Thanks for coming on and chatting as always. Yes, thank you to the guys in the comments who commented and keep us straight, especially the people who keep us straight on the Marvel stuff. Seems that we're Marvel clueless. I will be Wikipediaing you know, who that is after we get off here, so I can figure out who that is at the end of Jessica Jones. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you everybody who watches this well after the fact. I know there are those of you who do. That is awesome. Thank you to the people who gives us those 5 thumbs down. You guys rock too. I appreciate you showing up and adding traction to the show by giving us those thumbs down. That's pretty cool also. Until next week, when I'm sure we'll be back talking comics, unless we find something better to do. Anyway, have a great one, everybody. See you next time.
Gute Nacht.